Hey, what's going on, everyone? Today we're going to be talking about Attack on Titan Season 4, Episode 7, which was an amazing episode, and whether or not Zeke is actually dead in this episode. Now, before we go ahead and get started, I just want to let you guys know that this is a huge spoilers in this episode. If you haven't seen the episode already, obviously we're anime only, so there's no manga spoilers, but if you haven't seen the episode, I would highly recommend you watch the episode before you watch this video. Now, let's go ahead and get started, and we're going to be going backwards at the time of Zeke's supposed death to analyze why Zeke is actually not dead in this episode. So first of all, the death that Zeke has is actually too small of a death for a main character like Zeke. He barely got any screen time. Also, Levi barely got any screen time with him, which is even a bigger deal. And if you remember from Season 3, Levi and Zeke's battle was 5-6 minutes long. It was a lot of screen time and it was really nicely animated. So this death is just simply too small. Do you honestly think Levi would just, drop a grenade and get out of there? Levi would kill this man with his own hands if he really wanted to kill him. If you remember from Season 3, he stuck a sword in his mouth, so obviously, he would be willing to go that far to kill Zeke if he really wanted to kill him. Now, if we go back a little bit further, we could see that Zeke even says explicitly that Eren is not my enemy, but he doesn't justify this, right? And everybody's kind of surprised when he says this, but then he just goes out and calls out Levi, which doesn't directly contradict the idea that Eren is not his enemy. It just confirms the idea that Levi is his target. On top of that, Zeke says that Levi is running out of time, and then Levi goes ahead and checks his watch as well. So why would they both be on the same page? And you might be thinking, well, Levi is running out of time because Marley is coming in, but if you go back to what Peak said, they were obviously in control of the entire battle, so Levi was technically running out of time, but there was no reason for Zeke to be calling him out on that. On top of that, generally in the battles that we have with Zeke, there are these huge monologues where he's thinking to himself about how to defeat the enemy. We have none of that this episode as well. Now, if you remember from one of the previous episodes, Zeke was gone for 15 minutes while Eren was talking to Reiner and Porco and Peak were being captured, right? So in that time, Zeke was gone for 15 minutes for no apparent reason, and anything could have happened that 15 minutes. On top of that, Zeke was perfectly okay with letting Reiner and Falco go and talk to Eren, even though they knew that they had an attack coming from Paradise. Why wouldn't you have some of your strongest soldiers with you at the time? It just seems a little bit suspicious. Another thing is that Zeke was actually suspected earlier in the season, in about episode 2 or so. I actually couldn't find the specific episode, but in that episode, when they were having their warrior meeting, Zeke actually told them to stop talking because he didn't want the Marleyans to hear in, right? He knew that somebody was hearing in, so he didn't want them to be suspected at all. That's really interesting because Tiber also said before he died that there were individuals in Marley, right, that were working in cahoots with Paradise and they didn't know who it was. So this kind of goes hand in hand to the idea that Zeke is acting really shady in Season 4. And a lot of you might be thinking, why would Zeke even be siding with Paradise this late when clearly in Season 3 he was on the side of the Marleyans? Well, if you think about it, Zeke just found his brother Eren after all of these years, and there was a 4-year time gap between Season 3 and Season 4. We also know that Eren has been off the island for a long time and has been with the Marleyans, so it is very likely that Eren and Zeke met up during this time. Perhaps they talked it out, or perhaps they settled their disputes about their father and his philosophies and then moved on to a point where they could come together. It's also important to note that Armin, who barely wants to kill anybody, just blew a nuke at the port of this country and then walked away like nothing ever happened. So it is possible for a lot of these characters to be switching how they feel throughout the series, especially during this 4-year gap. And that's it, guys. Those are all my theories on why Zeke is probably still alive, and we're probably going to be seeing him fighting with the Paradise fighters. And hopefully the story goes on and it's still interesting. It's been a lot of fun to watch this season, and I hope you guys enjoyed this analysis and are enjoying the season as well as I am. Make sure to drop a like on the video. I will catch you guys in the next one.